This is Ashley Shade, and you're watching Geeks with Issues.
Cause there's a geek in your face and the geek's got issues. Geeks.
Hey, true believers, welcome back to the Basement of Dreams for another episode of Geeks with Issues 20XX. We're here at the newly christened Gateway Collaborative Media Studios, here to bring you another fantastic episode of conversation about a multitude of geeky topics. Now that we've returned from our little break, and we hope you enjoyed our hiatus. But we're back. We're in the basement, and I'm going to introduce to you your geeks. At the far end, our gamer extraordinaire, Andy. Middle number one, our chief technologist, Ogre.
Hello.
Middle number two, our basement balladeer, Tony.
What's happening?
And I, your friendly neighborhood geek master, am Tuck. Our first point of conversation, apparently being out of the basement, has made my mouth a little bit non-functional. Our first topic of conversation comes from Ogre on the topic of summertime tech.
Oh yeah. Well, it's summer. Summer's here, and the great outdoors are calling. So, what is your favorite outdoor tech that you want to take outside?
I'm going to hold off a beat because I particularly enjoy my answer to this one. I want to hear everyone else's answer before I wax poetic.
Phone like GPS with like trail apps to explore trails and stuff is a lot of fun. I generally, when I'm outside, I don't like to bring a lot of tech with me. I tend to leave that stuff at home. Like I resisted having a data plan for a very long time. It's like, no, if I am out in the woods, I don't want to have technology. If I'm able to get Wi-Fi, great. If I'm not, full woods. But that's just me.
I'm with that. If by outside you mean the woods, leave the tech at home for sure. But if I'm going outside on the porch in the morning with my coffee, the first thing I'm reaching for is that Bluetooth speaker, baby.
For me, whenever I go out on hikes and stuff, I do a lot of landscape photography. So I take my my Sony Alpha A7. So it's the first generation, so pretty old, but it takes a lot of pictures. It's very small and light, so I can just throw it into a quick bag that I have, so I can make it go away real quick if I need to. But it takes wonderful pictures, and that's what I take with me.
I'm about to mess all that up because you guys have this beautiful nature purist thing, and I used to go on work hikes with my father, and I would spend the entire time wandering through the woods, split between trying to enjoy the experience of being in the woods and wishing I could be home in front of the computer playing a computer game. Mm-hmm. Not a video game, a computer game.
Yeah.
Because I've always been very sort of PC minded. The advent of the Steam Deck has changed my freaking life. Because now I can do both. I can go for that hike, and then when I take a minute and take a break, more than a minute, let's be honest, more like an hour, but that's okay. I can bust the Steam Deck out and play a round of whatever has my attention. Pack that back up, come back down the mountain.
There you go.
Or sit in front of after everybody's made s'mores, sitting around the campfire. When people have wandered off at my house, because I've got teenagers, so they want to cocoon in their spaces. And the little kids are off in bed. It is just lovely to sit in front of the fire and fire up the Steam Deck.
Yeah.
So a little bit of both.
I will say some like improvements in outdoor tech, like flashlights can be way better than they used to be when we were kids, or even when we were working at camp. Like, and that you can just like recharge them with a USB cord.
Yes.
Is amazing. Headlamps for if you're caving or doing other stuff outdoors at night and just having your hands free. You don't have to have like a giant old-fashioned miner's helmet. You can just have like a little tiny battery pack that's got LED lights that are super powerful. So having that kind of stuff for outdoors. I don't spend a lot of time in the sun, but if I can be outdoors and be, in the shade or in the dark, that's fun. But
well, and now since everything is USB-C, you can toss a
single cord,
a single cord,
or a battery pack,
and a little power bank in your bag, and
maybe even a solar panel.
You're good for adventures.
Yeah.
Before we run out of time, gentlemen on the screen, anything to add?
eBird. You ever heard of that app?
No.
For you avid hikers, it's fascinating. You can load it and it'll listen to the soundscape around you while you're hiking out in the wherever you are, or even, in an urban environment, and tell you all the birds and genuses of bird that it hears. And what makes it really cool is that it actually updates and aggregates all that data and sends it to the scientific minds and resources that need to track these species.
Where the animals are. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, that's really cool. Yeah.
That's freaking awesome. That's being added to my device when I get an opportunity. So Tony, moving on to topics, has a spicy one. Take it away.
Well, this has been a hot topic of late, not just in mainstream media, but also, amongst some of my friends and colleagues. Just as far as the controversy about AI generation and the debate between fair use and copyright protection, right? So we watched those SAG union strikes out in Hollywood because of the controversy about the use of people's name and likeness. As a musician, I'm sort of feeling a little protective of my fellow creatives in how, open source data leads to, we all write in a way that's going to be part of an influence chain. But since we know that these models are actually grabbing protected material potentially, who's liable? And should they be?
Yeah, that's a tough, thorny issue. Because it's in order for it to be protected under fair use, it has to be a transformative work. And are these AI models transforming what they touch? I guess, but it's not being done by a person.
And how the data is collected too isn't being done by a person necessarily either. It's scraping websites and scraping the internet and then converting that into a data file that is then not necessarily sold, but acquired by these companies. So there's no it's like as if you were on, I don't know, Instagram and you grabbed a photograph off of it in order to save it to research it later. Like, is that acquisition piracy at that particular point, or is that
or does it depend on what you do with it, or
is printing it out for personal use? Say you have an artist that you print out one of their pieces of artwork and just to put it up on your wall or pin it to the wall and use it as inspiration for if you're drawing or writing a story or writing music or something like that. Is that
But like if you
stealing
download an
from
image
that
to like
artist.
make a meme, like with a meme template generator, like Imager or something like that, like that, if you're making a meme, if you're making a transformative work with it, like that's protected. But like if you download the image but then like don't actually do anything with it, have you committed a copyright violation? How does that work? Like it's very strange. And then what if an AI downloads like thousands of images?
Well, and so here is an interesting sort of thing to toss into the conversation, because I have recently been watching a pair of short video content creators, Well of Fables and Gloomstomper. And both of them rely heavily on AI to generate their content. And it's very clear that when they're generating their content, there is an homage intended. Gloomstomper, for example, is very, I want to say, 70s media inspired. So whether it's live action video or an animation, it looks like something that was produced in the 70s.
Yeah.
But the content, despite the fact that it was AI generated, is heavily curated by the creator so that the content and the themes are original and they're all trippy.
Yeah.
And I recommend them for anyone who wants a different angle on this sort of question, because it's clear that the AI has scraped like 70s content to create
that
this,
sort of vibe and yeah,
to get the feel. But I suppose a good question to ask for a continued conversation, because we're going to run out of time, is where the line is.
Yeah. There's a really interesting musician comedian who There I Ruined It on YouTube. He has these he'll like mash up and have like Johnny Cash singing Baby Got Back, and he uses an AI filter to make the voice sound exactly like Johnny Cash. But then you look at his process, which he shows of how he made it, and he is singing pretty much like it with very good Johnny Cash impression, and then singing Baby Got Back, and then adds that AI like voice on top of what he's already doing to sweeten it,
to make it sound more accurate.
Yeah.
Interesting. Tony, this is a topic we're going to have to dig into more, because we ran out of time. In this episode's Journey from the Basement, Trevor travels to Pittsfield, Massachusetts to meet with the legendary Erin Laundrie at her Lego shop, Bottomless Bricks. It is an experience that could not be fit into a single Journey from the Basement, so let's check out part 1.
If you're a certain kind of geek, you've probably seen Erin Laundrie before, even if you didn't realize it at the time. From high-stakes builds to national TV, she made her mark on Lego Masters, turning piles of bricks into full-on creations. But here in Berkshire County, Erin's story doesn't stop when the episode ends. It keeps going. Tucked away in Pittsfield is Bottomless Bricks, a spot that feels a little like walking into a Lego build in progress. And honestly, we're pretty lucky to have it, because places like this don't just exist everywhere, especially not in smaller cities. So today, we're heading inside to see what Erin's built here, and why this place matters to the local community of builders, collectors, and curious geeks alike. Geeks, welcome to another Journey from the Basement segment. I'm here with Erin Laundrie, here at Bottomless Bricks in Pittsfield, Massachusetts. Erin, how you doing today?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm pretty good. I'm excited to see the place. You got a lot of cool stuff here.
Thanks.
First question is, are you a lifelong Lego geek?
Truthfully, no.
No?
No, I did not build with Lego until I hit my 40s.
Tell me the story.
Okay, I raised 2 boys. Lego obsessed. Absolutely Lego obsessed. And after about 15 years of being the parts girl and handing them the parts, Lego came out with a Beatles Yellow Submarine set.
Oh, very cool.
Could not resist that. I've been collecting Yellow Submarine paraphernalia since I was a teenager, so I had to get that. That, I like to say, is my gateway drug right there. That got me into Lego. Then they came out with Women of NASA, Women in Science, and
Very cool.
I will always buy things that are NASA and science related, with especially the girl power.
Oh yeah. Well, I feel like that's the whole Lego thing, right? Is they have so many properties that they have licensing for that it's bound to catch someone with something.
Heck yeah.
So can you tell me a little bit about the history of the store itself?
Yeah, so right around 2018, I had my two boys who were into Lego. My husband also discovered a love of sorting Lego. So I decided I wanted to try to show my youngest son that he could do a career. It's something he's passionate about. So I came up with the idea of throwing Lego birthday parties. So at that time, I'd go to your house with 75 pounds of Lego and I'd dump it out on your floor. I'd bring my collapsible racing ramp, car parts, and a tackle box full of minifigures. We'd play for an hour, I'd pack it all up and go home. And after about a year of doing that, the feedback I got was that people would love to see me have my own dedicated party space. So I opened that mid-October 2019 up in Adams, Massachusetts, right on Park Street, and was open for 5 amazing months before the entire world stopped having birthday parties and shut down due to a global pandemic. So at that point, I closed for 3 years. And I reopened almost 3 years ago. It was late May of 2023 is when I reopened in this wonderful location. And it's been 3 years. I just renewed my lease, so I'm going to stay here.
All right, Geeks, we're going to show you around a little bit. So, Aaron, tell me what we're looking at here.
Well, this is our parts and pieces table where you can fill up one of 3 different size bags with any of this clean, reused brick. I have stuff in the drawers underneath. I have color sorted drawers under my shelves. Good thing to know about all of this has all been washed in a washing machine before it came out here.
Wow.
So this is all clean bulk that is ready to be built and used and played with again. I also have tons of new sets. I'm an authorized Lego reseller, so I'm able to get brand new sets as they're released. I also sell used sets, so things like this. We actually buy used sets from people. We break them apart. We inventory every piece, reseal them in bags by color so they can be built again. And I like to say we're keeping oil-based plastic out of a landfill, so this is a great way to recycle a Lego
absolutely,
set.
Absolutely.
Our most popular station here is definitely our minifigure factory, which we have over there, where people can build their own minifigure to take home with an accessory for only $5.
Oh, cool. Geeks, let's take a look at that. Oh, wow, yeah, I see all the pieces.
This is always so much fun, especially when you're trying to pick an accessory. There are so many things to choose from. I always say it's the hardest decision your kid's going to make all day is how to build your guy. But a lot of kids, they'll have a good week at school. Parents will bring them in to build a minifigure. You know, it's a nice little reward for some kids who are on like a behavioral chart kind of thing. And
yeah. I feel like it's a great reward system, and there's a lot of cool memories tied to Lego for myself too. So I think those kids probably really appreciate that.
Oh yeah, everyone loves the people because it adds that storytelling element to their builds, and it really. Yeah, it kind of just ties in all that.
Professional wrestlers I know who, before their actual figures come out, what they're selling at their tables are little minifigs they've built themselves.
Aww.
So it's a pretty popular thing.
I love that. I know when I go to Lego conventions, a lot of the other Lego masters will have like their sig fig, we call it, and they have those to hand out, or stickers of I usually hand out stickers of my sig fig.
Oh yeah.
Little things like that.
So do you table at conventions too for your time on the show?
I do panels and meet and greets.
Very cool.
I don't table with my business. I try to only represent Lego Masters when I go to these kinds of events. Next one I'm going to is Brick World Chicago, which is the largest Lego convention in the U.S., where I will be doing a panel as a Lego Master with some of the other Lego Masters from the other seasons.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's a lot of fun.
That's cool. I would love to see that. That's our first look at Bottomless Bricks. But yeah, this ended up being one of those conversations that just didn't fit neatly into a single segment. There's a lot more we got into with Aaron that we haven't touched yet. So we're picking it right back up next episode. Stick with us. We'll see you then.
All right, geeks. So Aaron spoke a little bit about geekdoms that you get into later in life. I am curious as to the geekdoms that you have gotten into later in life.
Yeah, me personally, I recently got into 3D modeling because it just helping my dad build frames and stuff for his artwork. It's been a lot of fun learning the new process and learning the software, everything from Tinkercad to Fusion. It's been a lot of fun. And it's kind of got that, you're working with building blocks pretty much. So it's a lot of fun.
I one of my biggest passions right now is LARPing, but I didn't really get into that until my late 20s. And then playing the ukulele, doing music, like I didn't start doing that until like 35. Like I took a couple guitar lessons like in middle school, but I didn't really care about music at that point. But those are two things that I've gotten into later in life, although I've been LARPing for like over a decade now. But like I always thought that, oh no, that's too nerdy for me to do. And then it's like, oh no, actually that's right up my alley.
So I've mentioned it previously, but miniature painting, specifically, war game miniatures like Warhammer 40K and BattleTech. BattleTech in particular, I was a huge fan of in my teens. Knew that there was a miniatures component, but really was intimidated because they were cast miniatures at the time. Okay. It was before technology allowed for plastic minis to be produced en masse easily.
Yeah.
So now I'm a heck of a lot more comfortable painting plastic minis. And like I've said before, I'm not good at it, but I do enjoy it. It's never too old to pick a new thing to geek about. All right.
Yeah.
No, Tony, go ahead.
I was just going to contribute that when we were sequestered while my then wife was pregnant with my daughter, she introduced me to Avatar: The Last Airbender, which not only does Uncle Iroh to this day make me weep when he sings that song under the tree, which I may or may not have watched thousands of times. But it turns out my old musician iteration of myself is in that show, if you recall, The Traveling Minstrels.
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome. Speaking of never too old or too young or too far in the past or too far in the future, Andy wants to touch on time travel.
Yeah, time travel is one of my favorite like science fiction elements, and it can be done well. It can be done very poorly, but there are some amazing examples of time travel in fiction. And I'm wondering what your guys' favorites are.
I always felt like my favorite show that would contact time travel, of course, which is just my favorite show anyway, it was Star Trek. And every time you encounter it, right, there's some kind of like, the original series in Star Trek 4 whips around the sun in order to come back and save the whales. But it's always like this sort of, you go back in time to change something in the future. And it's not until Voyager where a regulatory agency from the future whose sole purpose is to maintain the integrity of whatever timeline they're on, sort of, introduce the idea that if that were a technology that we can employ as a civilization, we would have to regulate and enforce it because it's so wildly powerful. I always thought that was interesting.
Well, and the way Star Trek built on that, because not only did they have the Department of Temporal Investigations, which I think they busted out in as early as DS9.
There was a DS9 episode where they time traveled back to the Trouble with Tribbles episode.
Yes, there's the Trouble with
That
Tribbles.
one was amazing because they seamlessly got like the DS9 characters in replicas of the original series costume, like on those sets. That was amazing.
And then the stuff that they did with Enterprise, with the Temporal Cold War, playing off the fact that if people have the ability to travel in time, they're going to mess with each other. You give a Romulan the ability to travel in time, and they're going to try and make Romulans awesome.
Make Romulus great again.
That's absolutely. To the point where they basically nipped it in the bud by the time Discovery came along, because there became rules about how you're not allowed to time travel anymore. Thinking about time travel, I think one of the more interesting genres that I have seen played out is time loops in video games. Because there are a number of it, to the point where it's almost a genre now.
Yeah.
There is a game called Deathloop where you play one of two different assassins who are stuck in a time loop, trying to figure out how to get out of it. There's 13 Minutes, which has some unexpectedly famous
There's some good voice actors on that. Yeah. I think it was 12 minutes. But yeah.
Was it 12 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, there was Willem Dafoe, a couple other people. Like it was, trying to remember who else, but that's an amazing.
Where you have to solve a murder mystery in 12 minutes.
Yeah. And then when you don't the first time around, because you don't have all the information, it loops back around and you pick up more clues as you go. I think Edge of Tomorrow is one of the best movie examples of that time loop, where you do things and then you learn what happens, but then there's essentially two different factions, both learning things and not realizing that, the humans basically get exposed to the alien goop that lets you travel back to a point in time. The aliens control when it resets to, but they don't realize for a while that a human has that power. And then once they do, they're trying to track that human. It gets really interesting. Yeah. What about you, Ogre?
That reminds me of the video game, one of the first video games I ever purchased for my cell phone, which was Infinity Blade. You literally just repeat over and over again. But you grow as you go through. You figure out like the paths to go, the bad guys to fight until you get to the end. But oh wait, there's more ending. And stuff. So that thank you for that memory. That was fun. But so many favorites in the time genre. The one that I thought of when originally was Primeval. It's a BBC television show it's time travel, and it's a portal fantasy as well. So strange anomalies are appearing all over England, and a professor and his team are tracking down and capturing all these dangerous prehistoric creatures and from the Earth's like distant paths and more recent past too. It's a really phenomenal. The BBC one, I never watched the American version, but it was a lot of fun when I was watching it.
Before we give into the clock, Tony, any
What else? Well, I hate to grab for some low-hanging fruit, but I can't think of another example other than whichever one of those Avenger movies. I think it was the Endgame one where Tilda sort of takes Bruce Banner to school on how that works, And they all have that revelation, right? Dude, it's like, well, so wait, you're telling me Back to the Future is not real?
Speaking of time, we've run out of it. It's the end of an episode. I want to thank everyone for joining us back here in the Basement of Dreams at the Gateway Collaborative Media Studios. With the clock ticking, I want to thank you for watching, and until next time, this has been
Andy,
Tony,
Ogre,
and Tuck, reminding you to geek on, geek out, and geek everywhere, anywhere, as long as you clean up after yourself. We will see you next time on Geeks With Issues 20XX. Goodbye, everybody.
You gotta blow on it. You gotta blow on it. I used to think anything was possible. I thought that I could be a king or Caesar. but I don't need all of that gold or silver. That's how I know that I'm a true believer. Some people wanna climb the corporate ladder, TPS reports, politics and schemes. Thanks to my chainsaw, my cubicle is firewood. Now I'm living in a basement of dreams.